Well, how is everyone doing? So, just settling back from the second week of lessons, and this week I have added an iPad into the mix. So, I'll show you how I'm using it for lessons. So, it's pretty handy, and what I'll do is I'll give a bit of a lesson with this as well, not just like show off an iPad. So, basically, it's fairly handy for, let's say, if I'm drawing sketches of chords. Now, one thing I'll demonstrate in this lesson as well basically is, hold on, I'll just change angles. There we go. So one thing I'd like to demonstrate in this lesson is an important thing to do with one particular finger. Now, anybody out there who's been playing guitar a while might know what finger I'm talking about. So I was doing the B7 chord this week with somebody, which looks as follows on a chord diagram, and we miss the X at the top. And basically the work was to do with one finger in particular. Which one, if you haven't guessed? This finger! Because we use our pinky on it. Right? For a lot of players, this will be the very first chord that they end up using their pinky on. For me, it was Imagine by John Lennon. That was the first time I learned this chord, and I didn't think such chords existed because it is our weakest finger a lot of the time. So what I've been running through with students is the following. It's basically taking it out and doing what I demonstrated before, the classic like clear chord check. So hold on now. There we go. Okay, get this out of the way. So basically it was to get the B7 chord and playing what's on screen. That might sound pretty good because most of them came out. But do the classic clear chord check. Bingo! So the exercise was, I've asked students to set a timer for like a minute or 2 minutes and just press and pick that string over and over. And you hear that high sound. Okay, and a chord that usually sounds good paired with it, because it's nice to give pairings, is E. So after you do B7, it's a nice finished sound. So basically that was one thing I was working on with students, and have to say this is so handy, so handy. And the other thing then this week I was working on was the following. It was using, let's say, Radioactive by the Imagine Dragons. There is a chord in it, B minor, and another tip I usually do is I'd sometimes write chords out sideways as well. It's really good for students to learn to read chords different ways, because I remember I learned them one way myself when I began learning first, and like my own teacher, he'd write out different ways of reading them, and all of a sudden I'd go into, let's say, Poles in Galway, a music store, and I could suddenly make sense of the other ones. I didn't have to like turn the book on its side and things. So here is one from the side. So what we'll do is, I've done this one before. This is a B minor 7 chord. Okay, now as you can see, it does look a bit more unusual if you're not used to reading it this way. But the benefit of it is that a guitar neck is often faced that way for students. So, you know, it works fairly well. Now, the major tip here is the following. It's that, well, when doing Radioactive by the Imagine Dragons, there are a few different chords. So, one here that we used a lot of was B minor. So, this is like the last step for doing a bar chord, B minor. So, let's say you got this, and I will flip this camera. Okay, so you see there the one on the left, we have B minor 7, nice ringing sound, but then the one on the right sounds a lot tighter. So if we're going, the other one, that one's way more expansive. So you can choose both, like, but if B minor is a bit tricky, you could do the B minor 7. So that is some of the iPad's functions in a nutshell there. It's fairly handy, and then students get let's say I can send on the PDF of what I've drawn here, or the image of what I've drawn here, and it's in their folder then. So as I've said other times, if you want to keep up to date for the waitlist, if you're looking to get private lessons via video using all the functions of the software as well, just click the link below, pop in your email, and I'll keep you up to date. Alright, have a great weekend everyone, or whenever you're watching this, and see you soon.